Hello kids, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a duct tape purse. And now the way I make them is like this. You can see it's a woven with just a bunch of individual strips, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So you can see it's a basic look, how you would expect one to look, just like any old bag except duct tape. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to start with by making a bunch of these strips. That's what the whole thing's made out of. So just today I'm doing these two colors, light green, light blue, and you can do whatever colors you want, but start by just making a strip of tape. Just simple. It's about 12.5 inches, and you're just going to want to cut it down. I measure it onto my strips that I already have made, so just cut it like that. Just do that a bunch of times, and right here I just did it twice, but then just cut that right down the middle, just in half. And you're going to do this a lot of times, so you'll get used to doing this. So just cut it in half, and then you're going to end up with this, and you are going to fold that in half. And now this part, you want to do a good job of folding it in half. You don't want to have bubbles. So see how I fold it kind of in thirds. I fold the middle, and then I did the right side, and then now I'm doing the left side. Making sure to keep it lined up so you don't have little extra stickies. And so you're going to want to do it in both colors. And that's pretty much what makes up the whole thing, is just these strips. So just kind of do this a couple times. And see how I fold the middle third, lining it up perfectly, smoothing it out from the outer into the inside, making sure you don't have any bubbles. Do the right side, left side. Now that's, you don't have to do it that way, but it just helps with the quality of the strips. So then you just do a bunch of the strips, just do it in bulk, because you have to make a bunch of these. You have to make like 34 of each color, so just do it like this, cut them all in half. Definitely helps to have a cutting board. And then you're going to do that in both colors. See how I did it in green here, you can see my half, and just a strip. So you can see you end up with 34 of each color. Of course you don't have to do 34, you can make it more or less depending on how big you want it to be. And yeah, so this comes out to a lot. And then, so you can do this if you want to. You just cut off the little stickies that you'll end up with for quality. Some of them you're not going to line up perfect, so just do that if you want to. And then you're going to want to start taking them one color at a time, putting them at a 90-degree angle, meeting at the top, overlapping, green on top of blue. Of course, just whatever colors you're using. Then you just put a strip down like this and just cut it like just into little pieces. They don't have to be exact, doesn't really matter. Just like, strips like that. And then you're going to want to cut that in half. You do this kind of a lot. Then you end up with a bunch of squares, and then just cut that square in half. This is also extra, but it definitely helps with the quality. You end up with this little rectangle, and what you're doing here is just folding it so the two strips stick together at the top, just like on the tip, so that they don't come apart. And then you just want to do that a bunch of times with all the strips, and then you're just going to start weaving it, just under, over, and then meeting at the top, and then just make sure you type the tops, and that is going to be the very top. And so moving a little bit quick here, but you just kind of under, over, and just alternate, and just keep doing that over and over again, just like anything else that involves weaving. Making sure to tape at the top, and then just keep doing that, keeping everything in straight and in line. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and under, over. You can see me doing it. And then skip ahead a little bit. You're going to want to make sure you don't just do it this way. You're going to want to make sure you get the things on the ends there, so that the whole thing is just going to be this big long strip. And see how I didn't do it like a diagonal angle? I made sure I did it half and half on both sides, because you have to fold it over and you have to have it meet in the middle, and so that you can weave it together. And see right there, what I did is I put a little thing on the end to hold the strips from coming apart. So make sure you do that if you want to. So just fold it like this, and then you'll have it just crudely like this. And then this is when it gets a little bit tricky. It's still kind of the same thing. This will be kind of chaotic, but just start weaving it together so that it becomes one fluid big piece. And so just under, over. Just pick a color and just do all of that color, and then alternate, just whatever works best for you. So just keep doing that until you've got the whole thing done. And obviously this part's going to take a little while and it might be a little hard at first, but just keep working at it. And then what you're going to want to do is want to just pull them because you're going to want the top to be, you know, lined up. So it's because you can see it kind of indents a little bit. So you're going to make sure that's like a straight angle. And so yeah, so that's what I was doing there as I was pulling it up. And so then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tape all the things in the top together. Also optional, but it helps keep it all together. So I would suggest doing this just with those little rectangles I showed you how to make. Just keep doing that on all of them. And then what I did right here is I actually cut the sharp tips off. And then you can see I stapled each individual part together. And that's just to hold it better together. That's also optional, but that's how I do it to make sure it's not going to come ripping apart. So then what you're going to do, some of the strips are going to be too long, so you're going to want to make sure you cut them so that they are the right size. Yeah, so then you just start taking these strips of tape like I showed just now, and you're just going to want to cover up the whole edges, cover up the staples if you stapled it. Just overlap, just make sure you cover up so it gives it kind of like a smooth, you know, edge, and it holds it together a little bit better. So once you've done all that all the way around both sides, then just kind of fold it, you know, just kind of hold it how it's going to look. Just, of course it doesn't have the bottom on it yet, but that's just going to be a bunch of these diagonal strips going up and down to cover up the bottom there. And then it's going to be a bunch of little things like these. So they're just like 2.5 inches, just 3 inches, whatever, depending on how big you did yours. So same concept, just, you know, meeting them like that. So what I did is I just did a bunch of strips like I've been doing, you know, measured it 3 times, and then just kind of cut it across, and then cut it in half, just like we've been doing. You end up with a bunch of strips just like that, and all you do for these is just fold them in half. Pretty easy. You just want to keep doing that until you've got enough. So the thing with these is you're just going to, you know, obviously the same amount of each color. So yeah, so we're going to do this same exact thing with the little rectangles, holding them together. Just do that a bunch of times, and you can see right there I just have a sample, and then you're going to end up with something like this, just like if we did before, except smaller scale. And then with this, you're just going to want to just kind of look at it, just kind of scope it out, see, make sure it's long enough to where it's going to cover up the whole bottom and not just part of it. And then I actually, you know, put these on there so that holds it together so that things don't start coming out on the ends. And you want everything to be lined up right, otherwise it's going to look goofy when you start taping it. But what I do here, again, is I just cut off the tips to make it, you know, easier to tape on the ends, and it makes it sturdier. And then I do that. So obviously I staple it again. I only stapled every other one on this part because it's not really as important, but just, you know, any reinforcement you can do is just good. And you're going to cover it up with these anyway, so doesn't really do anything bad, it just makes it sturdier. So once again, just a bunch of these strips, it doesn't really matter how fat they are, just like that. And then just kind of have them all on hand, and just put it up next to the bag, and just start taping it on there. Just one piece at a time. Now this part, it's easy to mess up on this part. You don't want to overlap it to where it tapes on the outside rather than the inside. So just make sure you keep folding it, make sure it's lined up right. And then obviously flip it over, do the other side, just like this. So you've got the whole thing covered up on at least one side. Just do it in fractions, you don't need to do the whole thing at once, so then it just makes it easier. So then fold it like this, and just fold it, tape it, stick it, keep doing that until, I mean, you get the basic idea. It's kind of like, can't give that much instruction on this part, you just have to figure it out. So just keep taping it until the whole bottom part is attached. And then obviously, you know, you're going to work on that for a while, and you'll have these edges that are going to be sticking out, so just cut them along the rounded corner there. And yeah, and then just take little pieces of tape and put them over. So that it's all covered up. And then on the inside, you know, you're going to have some sticky edges, like sticky sides of the tape, so make sure you cover up the inside. In this part, I'm not going to actually show you to make the handle, but it's just a really long strip of tape folded in half, and so that's pretty simple. So just put it on there like that and attach it to the top, you know, twice, both sides, and that is the bag. You are done. You can decorate the handles if you want. I kind of would usually put some stuff on them to make them look a little less solid color, and then, but that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it right there. So you did it. If you did it, then you did it. So thanks for watching. I'll try to make more tutorials in the future, and if any of you guys actually do this tutorial and actually make one, feel free to post it as a video response. I'd like to see it. So yeah, so subscribe, like the video, whatever really helps me out, and will encourage me to make more videos. So, yeah, thanks for watching.